What if I told you that right now, there's a silent killer lurking in your morning routine that could be tripling your risk of stroke after age 60? A danger so common, so seemingly innocent, that millions engage in it every single day without a second thought. It's not what you eat. It's not even what you drink. It's how you start your day. And it could be destroying your brain one morning at a time. The sunlight creeps in through a narrow gap in the curtains. The clock reads 6:47 a.m. Margaret, 67, stands at the edge of her kitchen, coffee warming her hands. She reaches for her blood pressure pills, notices the calendar, and silently panics. She forgot yesterday's dose. With a guilty huff, she downs both pills at once. 10 days later, Margaret is in a hospital bed. Unable to speak, her right side numb and twisted. The doctors say it was a stroke, a severe one. But what no one told her is that the trigger came hours before, during one small but dangerous mistake that far too many people over 60 make. A mistake that silently triples the risk of stroke. And most don't even realize it's happening. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, swinging your legs over the side of the bed, and standing up quickly, like you've done thousands of times before. Only this time, that simple movement triggers a cascade of physiological events that could leave you paralyzed, unable to speak, or worse. Would you still do it? Would you still rush through those first critical minutes of your day if you knew they could be your last normal moments? Every morning, millions of people over 60 do something that seems completely harmless. They get out of bed too quickly. The shocking truth is that this seemingly innocuous action could be slowly killing them. Studies published in the Journal of Hypertension and supported by findings in the British Medical Journal reveal something terrifying. Older adults are at high risk for something called orthostatic hypotension, a sudden, steep drop in blood pressure when standing up too fast after lying down. This isn't just about feeling dizzy for a moment. When you stand abruptly, blood literally drains from your brain, creating a momentary oxygen deficit in the very organ that controls your existence. For younger people, the body compensates rapidly. But after 60, those compensation mechanisms weaken dramatically. Your blood vessels don't respond as quickly. Your heart can't adjust its rhythm fast enough. And for precious seconds, your brain gasps for oxygen it desperately needs. In fact, according to the American Heart Association, orthostatic hypotension triples the risk of stroke in people over 60. Let that sink in. Triple. Not a small increase, but 3 times the danger from something you're probably doing every single morning without thinking twice. Yet most don't even know the term exists, let alone that it's putting their life at risk. The question burns. Why aren't we hearing about this risk more often? Why isn't this plastered across every doctor's office in America? One reason stems from how stroke risks are traditionally discussed. Doctors often focus on cholesterol, obesity, smoking, or family history, as they should. These are the headline-grabbing culprits, the usual suspects. But in doing so, smaller daily behaviors get ignored, dismissed as insignificant when compared to the real dangers. This oversight could be costing lives. In 2018, researchers from Johns Hopkins University sounded an alarm that has largely gone unheard. They warned that ignoring postural changes in blood pressure could be a critical oversight in stroke prevention. Their research documented that even those with normal overall blood pressure readings, but with dramatic morning drops, were significantly more likely to suffer ischemic strokes within 5 years. Think about that. You could visit your doctor, get a perfect bill of health, leave believing you're protected, and still be at massively increased risk because of how you get out of bed each morning. In other words, a person can be healthy by most standards, But if they rise from bed too quickly each day, they may unknowingly be damaging their brain's ability to regulate blood flow, setting themselves up for catastrophe. But there's an even more dangerous wrinkle to this story, a deadly combination that multiplies the risk exponentially. It's what nearly everyone over 60 does immediately after their dangerous rapid rise from bed. The next lethal habit is caffeine. After getting out of bed, most reach for coffee as a comforting ritual, a way to jumpstart their day. That steaming cup seems innocent, even beneficial. Studies praise coffee's antioxidants, its ability to improve focus. But the timing changes everything. When consumed immediately after an orthostatic blood pressure drop, caffeine becomes potentially deadly. Here's why. Caffeine, particularly in older adults, causes vasoconstriction, a dramatic tightening of blood vessels, and a temporary boost in heart rate and blood pressure. Normally, that's manageable. But combined with an already stressed circulatory system recovering from orthostatic drops, it can push the body into unpredictable, dangerous swings. According to a 2022 review in the Journal of Neurology, elderly patients who drank high caffeine beverages immediately after waking, within 10 minutes, showed increased risk markers for cerebrovascular spasms. In plain terms, their blood vessels tightened instead of flowing evenly, especially in the brain. This constriction comes precisely when the brain desperately needs more blood flow, not less. When this happens, the brain may receive too little oxygen for brief but catastrophically damaging periods. One researcher from the study compared it to stepping on a garden hose when the water is already low. You don't notice right away, but the pressure builds behind the blockage. Then something bursts. In your garden, that means a ruined hose. In your brain, it means destroyed neurons, lost memories, paralyzed limbs, or death. Have you ever wondered why strokes so often happen in the morning? Now you know the terrible truth. It's because we're unknowingly creating the perfect conditions for them, one hurried morning at a time. Much of this risk is worsened by something everyone assumes is healthy, taking a hot shower first thing in the morning, especially a hot one. Hot showers feel wonderful, relaxing, invigorating, but physiologically, they're playing a dangerous game with your circulatory system. Hot showers dilate surface blood vessels to cool your body, but in the process, they pull blood flow even further away from the brain, exactly where you can least afford to lose it. According to the National Institute on Aging, the average blood pressure of seniors can drop up to 20 points during a hot shower. 20 points! That's the difference between normal and dangerously low blood pressure, all from something you thought was good for you. On its own, that wouldn't be so bad. But if this comes after standing up quickly and chugging coffee, the sequence becomes a perfect storm of vascular chaos. Early morning, when the body's systems are just waking up, is a fragile time. Your coagulation factors are at their highest, meaning your blood is most prone to clotting. Your blood pressure naturally surges. Your stress hormones peak. And yet, many unknowingly stack all these stressors within the first 30 minutes of waking. The body is asked to go from deep rest to full alert with 3 strikes already against it. It's like flooring the accelerator on a cold engine. Something's bound to break. But there's something even more terrifying about this morning danger, something that keeps neurologists up at night. Sometimes, these tiny side effects don't lead to a large, obvious stroke. They lead to something just as damaging and far harder to detect.
We learned today that 11 million Americans a year suffer from these hidden strokes. And tonight, what you can do. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
They are called silent strokes because there are no symptoms. A regular stroke kills a large section of the brain in an instant, knocking out language or causing paralysis. Silent strokes do their damage a little bit at a time.
According to the American Academy of Neurology, over 1/3 of adults over 70 show signs of silent strokes on brain MRIs. 1/3! And the most common time these occur? You guessed it, early mornings. These micro damages accumulate, reducing memory, slowing thinking, and increasing the risk of dementia. Each morning rush takes another tiny bite out of your cognitive reserve, another small piece of your future independence. Researchers at Columbia University found that people with a history of silent strokes are twice as likely to develop cognitive decline within 5 years.
Every year, more than 700,000 people in the U.S. have a stroke. May is Stroke Awareness Month, and we want to make sure that you know all of the signs. Many of us have and are familiar with the common ones, but there are also silent signs you might not be aware of.
The headaches that I had, the passing out in the kitchen, the slurred speech.
These are all common signs you are having a stroke.
Scale. The CDC reports that strokes are the 5th leading cause of death in the United States, and nearly 800,000 people suffer one each year. That's one person every 40 seconds. Yet a large percentage of these could be avoided by addressing simple lifestyle changes that cost nothing and require no medication. One 2020 study out of Harvard highlighted that simple practices, like sitting for a few minutes before standing, delaying caffeine intake for at least 30 minutes after waking, and using lukewarm showers instead of hot ones, could reduce morning blood pressure crashes by up to 70%. 70% reduction in risk from changes that don't cost a penny. But public awareness campaigns rarely mention these specifics. Why? Because medicine still treats prevention through medication more than through microbehavior. Pills are profitable, lifestyle changes aren't. And because it's easier to prescribe than it is to ask society to slow down. For many, it's a cultural issue. The idea that slowing your morning routine could save your brain doesn't match our fast-moving world of productivity and efficiency. But for those over 60, it's not just advice, it's survival. Ask yourself, what's more important? Saving 2 minutes in your morning routine, or saving your ability to recognize your grandchildren's faces? Is rushing worth the risk of never being able to speak their names again? Margaret, the woman we met earlier, survived her stroke, but her speech still hasn't returned fully, and she needs help to dress each morning. When asked what she would have done differently, she scribbled 2 words on a notepad: slower mornings. At the time, she thought rushing was normal. She thought skipping 1 pill wasn't a big deal. She thought hot coffee and a hot shower were just comfort. She didn't know that for someone her age, comfort can come with a cost. That one small mistake, made every day, isn't so small after all. The most heartbreaking thing about strokes isn't just what they take from you, it's how preventable many of them are. The irony is crushing. In our rush to start the day, we might be cutting our days short. In our hurry to live life, we might be hurrying toward its end. So here's what every person over 60 needs to know. When you wake up tomorrow morning, don't stand immediately. Sit at the edge of your bed for at least 2 full minutes, letting your body adjust gradually. When you do stand, do it slowly. Wait at least 30 minutes before having that first cup of coffee. Give your vascular system time to stabilize first. And when you shower, keep the temperature moderate, not hot. These small changes might add 5 minutes to your morning routine, but they might also add years to your life. And more importantly, life to your years. Quality time with loved ones, memories preserved, independence maintained. So tomorrow, when the sun sneaks in and another day begins, ask yourself, what's the first move you make? Will it be the rush that risks everything? Or will it be the pause that could save your life? The choice is yours. But now, at least, it's an informed one.